In this Webflow tutorial, I will show you how to create a clean, modern hero animation using the native GSAP timeline. And this is all built directly inside of Webflow. And the best part, you can copy and paste the entire animation straight from the free clonable into your own project. I will link it in the description. And we already built this hero section in the last video, and now we are bringing it to life. And I will also be expanding this into a full example site in the upcoming videos. So if you have any ideas for what I should build next, drop them in the comments. So let's get started. For the GSAP scroll animation, we have to select one of those section hero scroll classes. Then we go to interaction, then make a new scroll interaction. I name this one hero section scroll effect. And in the trigger settings, it's already added our section hero scroll class, which is correct. And that means as long as this element here, or one of them, is scrolling within the viewport, our elements are being animated. We can leave the start and end values here like it is, and also scrub on scroll. And then let's bring this smoothness down a little bit so it's not too soft. Then we can double click in the timeline to add our first action step. We start with our background image and then we scale it a little bit. So let's give this one a proper name. And then we want not the trigger element, but the background image element here to scale within the viewport. So let's grab this image, go to the target settings, and then set this one to class. And it's now inserting our hero background image, and it's filtering within our trigger element. And right now this one here is our trigger element. So every time one of these sections is coming in the viewport, it's looking inside and it's looking for our hero background media element. In this case, or in the other sections, I also wrapped this element inside of another div, because sometimes for the performance it's better to, if we want to move and also scale the background image element, that we wrap it into another div. So one of them animating the scale and the other, the media wrapper element, is animating the movement. And sometimes this is better for performance in, for example, the Safari browser. So let's go back and also use this wrapper div element here for this image. And all the other ones already have the background media wrapper here inside, so that's perfect. And inside of our GSAP animation, this action step here is animating now the scale of this image. So as a target, we have our image class here. And then in maybe 0.5 seconds, we want to just scale this element so we can remove all the other properties. And then we scale it from 1.7 maybe back to 1. And when this section is now come into viewport, this image here is moving a little bit to the back. And this seems like it's working in all of these sections. And next we want to move the media wrapper element here. Double click in the timeline. This should be the same length of in our scroll animation. Then we switch the target here to class. Then we can remove all the other properties except the move in the y-axis. And then we go maybe 25 VH. So we move this element with the image inside down, and then it's coming up, but also go minus 20 VH. So it's moving a little bit faster to the top than we have our normal scroll behavior. And this is the kind of simple effect that makes this whole hero section here a little bit more premium. A quick side note here, if you want to learn Webflow's powerful animation tools in a beginner-friendly way, check out my new Webflow GSAP Interaction Masterclass. It's a compact course that walks you step by step through the new animation system. Plus, you get a bunch of ready-to-use templates for your client projects. You'll find the link in the description. And if we now look at this effect, it seems like the next section is coming in a little bit too fast. You just increase the minimum height here a little bit, maybe to 110 or 120. So it's scrolling a little bit longer within the viewport, you see? And this gives also this hero section a really, really nice touch. If we go back into our interaction, we can see it's now a little bit better. But we could also just reduce the hero content wrapper with an opacity and then bring the text elements in a little bit softer. And in this action step, we just animate the opacity and not the movement or something, because we want to have control over how fast the opacity is, or the elements are fading in. So in this case, I switch the target here to class and then filter within our trigger element. And then we can just turn the opacity to 0, and then it's going back to our original opacity settings. And if I now scroll, you see it's way too fast. So maybe at this stage it should come in. And sometimes when you use the linear easing here, which is the standard here in scroll animations, you could also play around with the ease in out or just the easings here. So it's a little bit softer for the opacity. It doesn't feel that harsh. Let's maybe reduce it a little bit more. So it's a little bit faster. If you scroll faster, it still looks fine. And then of course we could also animate the content in and move it a little bit down, so it has this kind of nice parallax effect with the background image. So let's duplicate this action step here, and this should be a little bit longer. Let's rename this to move, and we can leave the target as it is, and then we just want to move this one from maybe minus 15 VH, and then we can move it in the positive direction to 15 VH. Now it seems like the content or the text elements are no longer visible. That's maybe because we animate the opacity here. Maybe let's try to go to the 100% here manually. Sometimes you have to set this one directly if you animate other properties. And now you can see the text elements are moving. Here is normally the box or the position of the title, and it's moving from here a little bit down within our viewport. And then the next text element is coming in and it's also moving down. Maybe this is a little bit too strong. Minus 12 maybe is enough. And then we just have this small little parallax effect here of the text box. And then as a last step, we could animate our hero title, and I gave all of these elements unique classes, so we can touch them, you can animate them however you want. So let's double click here again. Let's switch the target here to class as well. And then we want to move all those lines of titles in the Y direction 100%, but not down. We want to move them up. Let's also give this one a 0 position at the end. And then we want to stagger one line after another, maybe in 25 milliseconds. And then we want to split the text line by line. We could also play around with the easings here. Let's add a power maybe 3 in out, so it's sliding down a little bit faster. And if we publish the site, this is basically how you can see the effect here in full size. Maybe I develop some other sections or areas, subpages here for this kind of fictional project, and let's build this website together.